Hi guys, this is Fabian from the lake. As you can see, I hope you're doing great. So, it's Sunday. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna upload this video today, no matter what. I wanna make sure that I upload these weekly videos. I forgot, I missed 1 week or so, but from now on, I'm gonna make it like a strong commitment. Isn't it beautiful behind me? So guys, today I briefly wanted to speak about something that has really made an impact on my life in general, but also especially recently, where I made a stronger effort to kind of live it. And that's about being in a state of gratitude. I spoke about that sometime before, and it's been spoken about a lot recently, which I think is great. But it's always something, different if you have your own experience related to that. So for me, I some time ago in the past, I had this I had these symptoms, coming up, which were pointing to some disease that I was in my mind expecting to have, because these symptoms, they were really kind of strong. And so I went to the doctor at that time, and it turned out that it was something else which was not related to that kind of disease, which would have been much, much worse. And we kind of handled it. And so everything turned out really well for me. And so from one day to another, basically this huge, massive burden was completely removed from my life. And it was like, I had like a fresh start almost. You think you're gonna die or something like that is gonna happen, and then suddenly it turns out it's not gonna happen. Not yet. We are going to die. But I also realized after that initial relief, after I got back into my daily routine, oftentimes, I caught myself being in some mental routine where I completely forgot about that thing, which seemed so important in that moment. And it is. Think about it. I hope you are healthy, I hope you don't have a terminal disease or anything like that. But if you don't, then how rich are you already? Just that alone, having your health, having a good amount of health, there's no money in the world that can pay for that. And oftentimes I realized that, trying to build my business, I get so caught up mentally about, these business type of things. And this is actually which happens to a lot of business owners or entrepreneurs who are starting a business. There's this article that I just read today, that among entrepreneurs, especially people who are starting a business, the percentage of people who have mental problems, especially depressions, who are suffering from that, is much, much higher than the general population. So for example, in the US, across the whole population, there's 7% officially of people who are suffering from depression. But amongst entrepreneurs, this percentage is much higher, and it's like approximately 30%. And it's even 50% who have some form of mental problems. And if you take into like their closest family member, their direct family members, it's 70% who have. It's 70% of those who either have a mental problem themselves or who have a close family member who has. So the thing is, being in those stressful situations, it can cause a lot of mental nonsense in your mind. And I experienced that myself. It's, you don't have a lot of security, so it's a lot of challenges, and then you start worrying about these things, and if you're not careful, it kind of takes away your whole, state of joy, which in yoga we always try to build up, right? It's like the natural state we want to get back to. And I think a lot of these mental processes can hurt that. And so for me, I caught myself getting like too worried about these things, like, oh, is this contract gonna go through? Is this project's gonna work out, etc. And then when I catch myself and I realize, hey, come on, why are you worrying about that stuff? You're healthy. You have your health. That's worth, like, just imagine how much would you be willing to pay if you wouldn't have your health. If, let's say, I'm gonna tell you that you have to die in a year because you have cancer or something else, God forbid, I hope you don't, but how much would you be willing to pay to have that issue, solved? I'm sure you would be willing to pay whatever it costs, like $1 million, no problem. Even if you don't have it, you would be willing to take up the debt to pay that price. You would be willing to pay anything, because no money in the world is gonna be worth more than our lives. So it's 10 million, it's 20 million, 100 million, whatever, you don't care. You take up the debt and you try to pay it off the rest of your life if you can, and if you don't, it doesn't matter, because we're gonna be underground anyway. So the point I'm trying to make is, everything we're striving towards on the material sphere of life, it's nice. It's like, I consider it like a little bit of a game. But ultimately, compared to being healthy, compared to, being alive, even just for another day, it's worth nothing. So if we have some, degree of health, if we have some time to live, even just today, it's worth already more than anything we could possibly earn on the material sphere of life in a whole lifetime. So, we already have the jackpot, basically. We already have, it's like we won the huge jackpot in the lottery, and now we are like constantly, annoyed and worried that we don't get this small little extra win of another $100, where we just won the 10 million lottery win. It's just completely out of context what I'm trying to say. So, being alive, it's the huge, massive jackpot. Being in a human form, not being, nothing against trees, but I think it's much, I don't know, maybe I'm like, it's a prejudice, but I think being alive as a human it's just the greatest thing in the world. And it brings an opportunity with it, which we need to make use of. So I just, want to urge you to always remember and appreciate. Be grateful. You're going to be grateful about it if you realize that you're alive, that you're healthy, and that you won the jackpot. Okay, guys, I see you in the next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to upload a new video every week. If you have questions, leave a comment below, and I see you guys. Bye.